Hello everyone, this is Dave. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. Today we're talking a little bit about my investing updates for the last month, how I've done, what trades I've made, how I'm thinking about the market going forward, and I'd love to hear your thoughts as well as what you've been doing in the markets. Love to keep the discussion going down in the comments below. Sorry I haven't been able to make as many videos as I'd like to lately. Unfortunately, I have this home reno project going on that I've been doing myself, which is why I do have the virtual background on right now, and it has been taking longer than I thought. Usually when I start a project, I just get extremely focused on getting that one thing done, very single-minded, and when I start something I just really want to finish it and not get distracted with other things and leave it half done. So the channel has unfortunately been not as active in the past week, but I'm getting close to finishing, so hopefully we can get some more videos coming shortly. I've got a lot of interesting ideas coming up. If you're new here, I hope you will consider subscribing by the end of the video. If you're not new here, thank you for continuing to watch. Every subscriber is very much appreciated. I will also give you a quick snapshot of how the channel itself has been doing and how I'm thinking about that going forward as well, because last time I spoke about it, there did seem to be some interest, and it is kind of investing. I feel like I'm investing in myself and continuing to build out the channel as well. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into my portfolio updates. Alrighty, so first of all, obviously a bit of a red day today. Rocket Lab down almost 9% right now on the day. Really big dip there for the company. I'm totally okay with this, to be honest. I think it's healthy to have a bit of a pullback after the kind of run we've been having. So definitely not stressing this one too much. Do welcome your opinions down below if this is if today is upsetting you or something you're thinking about or was unexpected. Overall performance has been amazing over the past month, as I kind of mentioned with this latest run. I have had a 55.67% return in 1 month, which is a return many people would be jealous of in a year. So really nothing to complain about there at all. Zooming a little bit further out over a 3-month basis, we have a 101% return. So the amazing stretch continues. What can I say? It's just been a really amazing period of time for the portfolio. You go through 2 years where it feels like nothing's happening, everything's flat or down, and it's painful, and then you get rewarded for it in a very short period of time. So I see this as 2 years of pent-up returns being delivered over a 3-month period. And even zooming out further on a 1-year basis, we are up 125%. So obviously a great 12 months for the portfolio. Curious to hear how yours has been doing as well. You can let me know down in the comments below. But overall, just very happy, good times. Obviously, you can't go up forever, but no problem with enjoying this while it's happening. Talking about Rocket Lab now. Okay, so I did make a trade here that I have to tell you about. It did turn out to be a 20x return on the stock. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you've probably heard me make mention of my call options. Back in February, it looks like February 1st of this year, I bought 10 call options for a total cost basis of $1,000, $1,056 to be precise. Now, when I did this, it was not super material to, my life, my portfolio. It's $1,000. It's not nothing. It is important. It is valuable, but it wasn't a huge sum of money to me. And mostly the plan was, well, I can track how the options do versus the underlying stock and how options can sometimes outperform when things go up and underperform when things go bad. And it would give people, an interesting barometer to see how options can work, and it might be cool for the channel and viewers and myself. And plus, of course, I was bullish on Rocket Lab, and I did think the option would actually outperform the stock. Boy, has it ever, because during this recent run, that $1,056 became worth $20,300. Obviously, this is a very significant amount of money now to anyone, to me especially. But yeah, $20,000 is no longer like no big deal money. This is like, oh my God, this is actually pretty big money and certainly important. So as I was thinking about my whole portfolio, thinking about the fact that I do need to buy a house in the next 4 months, at least that's the plan, and I will need cash for that down payment, and this has had a 20x return. Rocket Lab has had a massive run. I really just thought it was prudent to lock in these gains, and I couldn't let it ride as just fun money anymore because it wasn't fun money. This was like a real material amount of cash. And I just felt like I needed to lock in that 20x gain. So I did. I sold the option on November 27th. I think the stock is down a bit since then, so it's actually worked out well that I did. I know a lot of people out there think it's heresy to sell any shares. I think it's a very reasonable thing to do when you have a run like this, when you have a 20% gain, when you have a big expense coming up. It's a very reasonable thing to do to sell your shares. And in fact, I probably, if I were a more reasonable investor and less bullish on Rocket Lab, I would have sold some of those underlying shares as well and lock in those amazing gains I've had to buy my house. But I love the company too much to do that, so I've held on to my shares, my underlying core position, and just sold this option, which again started out as like a fun experiment and became a very significant amount of money. Painful enough, I was actually thinking about going very heavy on call options before this recent run up. I was actually quite close to just selling whatever I had to do it because I thought the stock was getting crazy and I thought it'd be fun to do a really big play. Didn't pull the trigger on that in time, but if I had put that 40, 50K into call options at a 20X, well, we'd be talking about like $850,000 as opposed to just $20. So unfortunately, that didn't happen, but I'm not here to complain about what ifs. I could have done it. I had plenty of time to go heavy on those call options, but timing stocks is so hard. Picking a good company and just buying the shares is generally the best route. Knowing exactly when a company is going to move is so much harder than just picking a good company and waiting for them to move eventually. So that's what happened there. Overall, Rocket Lab, my shares, I still hold the core shares, and in fact, it has overtaken the top position in my portfolio. So Tesla, I've had an amazing run with that stock. The cost basis is not actually correct because I transferred these shares in from a different broker, and it just had the cost basis of those shares from that. So it's actually lower, and I did really well on Tesla, have about $309,000 worth of Tesla shares. My Rocket Lab, though, has now surpassed it. I put in $66,000. It's now worth $342,000, even with this recent pullback, which totally healthy, I think. And yeah, Rocket Lab now my top position in my portfolio, which I think lines up very well with the company I talk about the most. But I have put a pause on buying more shares right now to see how things settle out and reevaluate what I think the company is worth today and going forward. Still very bullish on the future of the company. I think they could be one of the big space companies of the future, like Peter Beck has said, bringing together launch, bringing together the satellite business where they can manufacture their own satellites and build out their own constellations. I mean, you've seen the amazing run in SpaceX's valuation, and Rocket Lab, if they're number 2 or 3, they could, over the very long term, have a lot of upside from here. But I still believe there could be a decent pullback coming, and both things can be true. The Rocket Lab will go up a lot in the long term and could have a bigger pullback in the shorter term. So I'm just holding right now, and we'll look and reevaluate in the future when I think I want to add more shares, because I think there will be a point where I do want to add more shares. And, we'll see when that happens. So since I am having a pause right now on adding Rocket Lab shares, and I did have some cash come available to me, I bought about $10,000 worth of HIMS stock. It's one I've been eyeing for a little while. Frankly, I wanted to buy it a while ago, but I just had no cash available. So $10,000 worth of HIMS about, what is this, a week ago or so. Sorry, everything's kind of blurry. I think this is December 6th I made that purchase, and we are up $500. Nothing to complain about there, despite being down today about $300. So I was up, I guess, $800 before today. Yeah, I'm not going to go into my thesis around this company in too much depth, but I think the growth is great. The advertising, yes, their advertising costs are real, and it is driving a lot of that growth. If they wanted to cut advertising spend, they could do it whenever they want, no problems, and that would significantly increase how profitable the business looks on the bottom line, should they want to do that at any point. And I think it's a great, exciting business in the telehealth field. They are one of the leaders. Let's talk what's next for Rocket Lab and the stock markets. Obviously, we've had a big run up. We've had a little bit of a pullback here. What I'm thinking about for the stock is, I think it can continue to do well even at these levels, so long as the overall stock market continues to do well. So we had a pretty significant red day today. NASDAQ down about 0.5%. Rocket Lab obviously down more. And I think that's what we're going to see. So when the stock market continues to go up, Rocket Lab can continue to outperform. But if the overall market does take a dump, Rocket Lab will drop even further, being a high beta stock, high growth stock. So really, I think it's going to come down to right now the overall market performance. Rocket Lab is kind of caught up to, I used to think it was severely undervalued, and they've had an amazing run. If the stock markets continue to run, what with bullishness around, the new administration and interest rates dropping and all that kind of thing, we could see the stock continue to do well. If we have a recession or, a bear market going on for 6+ months, it also wouldn't shock me if Rocket Lab has a severe underperformance and drops even more. It's like $15 a share or something like that, maybe below. So I think it's really relying on the macro markets right now. By the way, I do also think the changes coming at NASA could be bullish for the space industry in general and Rocket Lab specifically, with a greater focus on commercialization, value for money, and I think Jared will be a good catalyst for that. So that's another bullish point in favor of Rocket Lab over the long term, although I do think over the short term we have had, quite a run that it's prudent to be a little careful. Talking about the YouTube channel a little bit now, because some people did say in my last update that they like hearing about how that's going. We are now at 9,827 subscribers, so looking good for my goal of hitting 10,000 by the end of the year. It'll be very exciting if I hit that. We have 4 green check marks here, which means views, watch time, new subscribers, and estimated revenue are higher than average. Driven mostly, I would say, by the fact that we had the earnings call this month, so a lot of traffic coming, people wanting to get information on Rocket Lab's earnings, watching my live stream. We got a lot of good donations around that as well. And of course, the interview following the earnings was always big for the channel, and thank you guys to everyone who watched that. So great month for the channel in terms of all those metrics. I do want to point out, though, that this all isn't hitting the bottom line, because I am what I consider to be reinvesting some of these returns from the channel back into the channel in the form of a promotion. So I'm promoting one of my videos, trying to get it shown to more new people who have not been exposed to it across the internet. The reason I do this, and I think it makes sense, is pretty simple. So if I'm going to invest my time and effort into the channel going forward, what I have found is that the bigger your channel is, the more YouTube shows your videos to new people. So the snowball gets rolling bigger and bigger earlier if you pay for promotions. That's why I'm doing it. It's wild, really, how reliable it is. When you're small, it's so hard to get your videos seen by new people unless you're already famous or you have some lucky viral moment. Otherwise, you can rely on new viewers basically being a percentage of your current viewers. So if you pull forward the total subscriber numbers, you can expect that to pay dividends down the line, and not only those new subscribers themselves, but also the fact that your videos will get shown to more and more new people as your channel gets bigger. So I think it's worth it. Plus, when you run a promotion, obviously those new viewers see ads, and then that increases the ad revenue of the month. So it's not a complete wash. If you pay $300 for the promotion, maybe you get another $30 back from those viewers watching ads and the rest. So I think it'll be worth it and help the channel grow faster and accelerate it. And I'm going to continue to put probably a significant portion of the revenue the channel brings in back into promotions, because I think if you're going to do this, you might as well go all in it. If you're investing your time, you might as well reinvest the returns and try to get it to be really worthwhile and grow your time. It's starting to become a more significant revenue stream for me, whereas over the past 3 years, it's been really negligible compared to my day job. So that is the goal, to have it become a significant revenue stream and a good side hustle. And I think we're starting to get there. 10,000 subscribers has been my goal for a very long time now, and excited to get closer to that. So thank you for everyone who's subscribed, and especially the channel members who have helped me continue on this journey. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know how you've done in the stock markets over the past month, what your trades have been. Always interested to keep the conversation going, as well as your thoughts on what the overall markets and Rocket Lab or any other company is going to do in the coming months. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of the week, and I will see you shortly in the next video. Bye for now.